history enthusiasts, and curious minds. Welcome back to Ancient Echoes. Today, we're embarking on a fascinating journey to the heart of the ancient Andes to explore a remarkable invention that challenges our very definition of writing and record-keeping. We're talking about the Quipu, a system of knotted cords that served as the lifeline of one of history's most sophisticated empires, the Inca. Imagine a civilization thriving without a written language as we know it, yet managing an empire spanning thousands of miles, tracking everything from census data to astronomical observations, all with just strings and knots. It sounds like something out of science fiction, but it was a vibrant reality. So, grab your metaphorical magnifying glass, because we're about to delve into the intricate world of the Quipu, examining its structure, its secrets, and the scientific principles that underpin this ancient marvel. Get ready to have your perceptions of ancient technology completely transformed. The knotted enigma. What is a quipu? At its most fundamental level, a quipu is an assemblage of knotted strings. Sounds simple, right? But the complexity lies in its precise construction. Picture a primary horizontal cord, from which hang numerous pendant cords. These pendant cords, in turn, can have subsidiary cords attached to them, and those can even have sub-subsidiary cords, creating a hierarchical, almost fractal-like structure. The materials themselves were carefully chosen. The vast majority of known quipus are made from cotton, a plant that thrives in the warm, arid coastal regions of Peru. However, highland quipus often incorporated camelid fibers, primarily alpaca and llama wool, prized for its strength, warmth, and dyeing properties. The choice of fiber wasn't arbitrary. Cotton tends to be stronger and less prone to stretching than wool, making it ideal for maintaining precise knot spacing over time, crucial for accurate numerical representation. The tensile strength and elasticity of these natural fibers played a direct role in the quipu's functionality. Researchers have even studied the microscopic structure of these fibers to understand their durability and how they were prepared and spun, a testament to ancient material science. But the real magic of the quipu lies in the knots. There are various types of knots, each carrying distinct significance. The simplest is the single knot, a basic overhand knot. Then there are long knots, which consist of an overhand knot with multiple turns, representing digits 2 through 9. And finally, the most distinctive are the figure 8 knots, almost exclusively used to represent the digit 1 in certain positions. The placement of these knots along the cords, their orientation, the ply of the cords, S-twist or Z-twist, and even the color of the cords are all believed to have conveyed information. This isn't just a random collection of strings, it's a meticulously engineered system, a three-dimensional tapestry of data. Imagine the precision required by the Quipucamayocs, the Quipu keepers, to create and interpret these complex arrays. This level of detail suggests a highly developed understanding of logical sequencing and information encoding, centuries before modern computing. The Quipu is, in essence, a tangible representation of abstract data, a physical manifestation of an informational network. The Incan Empire's data network. The Inca Empire, or Tawantinsuyu, was a monumental achievement in ancient statecraft, stretching over 4,000 kilometers along the spine of the Andes, encompassing diverse ecological zones and millions of people. How did a centralized government in Cusco manage such a colossal domain without a phonetic written language? The answer lies in the Quipu. It was the backbone of their administrative and logistical infrastructure. Think of it as the Incan Internet, a distributed data storage and transmission system. Every village, every administrative center, every military outpost likely had Quipucamayocs responsible for creating, updating, and interpreting these knotted records. They would record census data, tracking population growth, births, and deaths. They documented tribute payments, detailing quantities of maize, potatoes, textiles, and precious metals owed to the state. Livestock counts, land surveys, labor allocations for public works like roads and terraces, and even astronomical observations were meticulously encoded on Quipus. The empire's highly efficient road network, the Chapakñan, wasn't just for moving goods and armies. It was also the conduit for information carried by chasquis, relay runners. These incredible athletes would carry Quipus from one administrative node to another, delivering vital intelligence to the central authorities in Cusco. Imagine the scientific precision involved in managing an empire of this scale, understanding resource distribution, predicting agricultural yields based on climate patterns, and orchestrating complex logistical operations. The Quipu enabled this. It provided the empirical data necessary for complex decision-making, from regulating food storage in kolkas, storehouses, to deploying labor for large-scale construction projects like Machu Picchu. Modern systems analysis can even draw parallels to how information is structured and retrieved, highlighting the inherent mathematical logic of the Quipu. It wasn't just a record, it was a dynamic tool for governance, a testament to the Incas' sophisticated understanding of statistical management and systems thinking. Without the Quipu, the sheer scale and complexity of the Inca Empire would have been virtually impossible to sustain. Decoding the numerical Quipu, base 10 system. While many aspects of the Quipu remain shrouded in mystery, one of the most significant breakthroughs in its decipherment came from understanding its numerical capabilities. It utilizes a sophisticated base 10 positional system remarkably similar to the decimal system we use today. Imagine each pendant chord as a column in an abacus, representing units, tens, hundreds, and so on. The lowest group of knots on a chord represents the unit's digit. Moving up the chord, the next group represents tens, then hundreds, and so forth. A single knot signifies its respective value. For example, a single knot in the unit's position would be 1, in the tens position 10, and in the hundreds position 100. The long knots, as mentioned before, represent digits 2 through 9. A long knot with 5 turns, for instance, in the unit's place means 5. In the tens place, it means 50. The figure 8 knot is almost exclusively reserved for the digit 1 in the unit's position, a peculiar specificity that helps differentiate it. Crucially, a lack of knots in a particular position signifies a 0, just as a blank space or a 0 does in our modern number system. This elegant design allows for the representation of extraordinarily large numbers, essential for tracking population figures, agricultural yields, and empire-wide resource inventories. The precision of the knot tying and spacing was paramount. Even a slight variation could lead to misinterpretation. The mathematical principles at play here are fundamental to any advanced system of quantification. The Inca understood and applied concepts of place value, magnitude, and the efficient encoding of numerical data. This wasn't merely counting, it was a complex system of statistical aggregation and disaggregation. Researchers have even hypothesized about potential arithmetic operations performed with Quipus, such as addition and subtraction, by manipulating the chords and knots. The consistent adherence to the base 10 system across hundreds of surviving Quipus points to a standardized educational system for Quipucamayocs, ensuring uniformity in data recording throughout the vast empire. This level of mathematical sophistication, embedded in a physical medium, highlights the Inca's genius in practical mathematics and information management. It's a testament to the universal applicability of numerical principles, regardless of the cultural context or the medium used to express them. The enigma of narrative Quipus. While the numerical function of many Quipus is well established, the greatest mystery, and perhaps the holy grail of Quipu research, lies in the existence of narrative or literary Quipus. Historical accounts from Spanish chroniclers, though often biased, tantalizingly suggests that Quipus were used not just for numbers, but also to record histories, genealogies, laws, poems, and even myths. If true, this would mean the Quipu was a full-fledged writing system, albeit one radically different from any other known to humanity. The challenge is that while numerical Quipus have clear patterns that can be statistically analyzed and partially correlated with known Incan census data, narrative Quipus lack such obvious structures, making decipherment incredibly difficult. Consider the complexity involved. If a Quipu recorded a story, how would verbs, nouns, and abstract concepts be represented? Could specific knot combinations or sequences represent morphemes or even entire words? What role did color play? Some researchers propose that the specific colors of the chords might have referred to particular places, clans, or types of objects, acting as semantic categories. For example, a red chord might indicate soldiers or war, a yellow chord gold or maize, and so on. The ply of the chord, S-twist or Z-twist, the direction of the knots, and even the type of fiber used could all be additional layers of encoding. This kind of multimodal information encoding system, where multiple physical attributes of the medium contribute to the message, is highly sophisticated. The scientific challenge is immense. It requires a blend of archaeology, linguistics, mathematics, and even computer science. Researchers are employing advanced statistical analysis, machine learning algorithms, and topological studies of knot theory to search for recurring patterns or structures that might indicate non-numerical data. The goal is to identify a Rosetta Stone Quipu, one that has an accompanying Spanish translation or a clear historical context that could unlock its narrative content. The search for these narrative Quipus is a testament to humanity's enduring quest to understand lost civilizations. If these narrative Quipus are ever fully deciphered, it would revolutionize our understanding of Incan intellectual achievements, offering us direct access to their own voices and perspectives, untainted by colonial interpretations. It would be one of the greatest archaeological and linguistic breakthroughs of all time, fundamentally altering our perception of pre-Columbian intellectual capacity. The Quipucamayocs, keepers of the knots. The sheer complexity of the Quipu system necessitated a specialized class of individuals, the Quipucamayocs, or keepers of the knots. These were highly trained, intelligent, and respected individuals, essential to the functioning of the Incan state. They weren't just scribes, they were archivists, statisticians, accountants, and perhaps even historians and poets, depending on the type of Quipu they managed. Their training would have been rigorous, likely beginning in specialized schools, or yachaywasi, where they would memorize the intricate rules of knot tying, chord arrangement, color coding, and the specific conventions used for different types of data. This was a sophisticated form of data literacy, transmitted orally and through hands-on practice, spanning generations. The Quipucamayocs played a critical role in the information flow of the empire. They would record data, interpret incoming Quipus from other regions, and present reports to local governors and ultimately to the Inca, the emperor, and his advisors in Cusco. Their role was analogous to that of a modern-day chief data officer or a head archivist. Imagine the cognitive load involved, memorizing complex encoding rules, discerning nuances based on context and color, and maintaining meticulous accuracy across vast datasets. This wasn't merely rote memorization, it required analytical thinking, problem-solving skills, and a deep understanding of the empire's administrative structure and economic output. The reliability of the entire Incan administrative system hinged on their expertise and integrity. The scientific analysis of the Quipu system itself offers insights into the cognitive processes of the Quipucamayocs. The consistent patterns found in numerical Quipus suggest a highly standardized mental model for data organization. The very act of tying knots requires fine motor skills, spatial reasoning, and an acute attention to detail. The Quipucamayocs were, in essence, human computing machines, capable of processing and storing vast amounts of information in a non-linear, multidimensional format. Their existence highlights the universality of specialized knowledge workers in complex societies, whether they wield pens and paper, or, in this case, cotton and wool. The disappearance of this specialized knowledge after the Spanish conquest is one of the primary reasons why the Quipu remains so challenging to fully decipher today. The Quipucamayocs held the key, and with their demise, much of the Quipu's deeper meaning became lost to time. Pre-Inca Quipus, an earlier origin. While the Quipu is most famously associated with the Inca Empire, archaeological discoveries have increasingly pushed back its origins, revealing that this sophisticated system predates the Incas by centuries, if not millennia. Evidence suggests that various pre-Inca cultures along the Peruvian coast and in the highlands utilized knotted cords for record-keeping, laying the groundwork for the more complex Incan system. Some of the earliest examples come from the Norte Chico civilization, specifically the site of Caral Super, dating back as far as 2500 BCE. These findings challenge the notion that writing systems evolved exclusively from pictographic or ideographic representations, suggesting an independent trajectory for information encoding in the Andes. The Caral Quipus, while simpler than their Incan successors, demonstrate the fundamental concept of using knots on cords to store discrete pieces of information. This long evolutionary timeline for the Quipu is a fascinating example of cultural continuity and innovation. Further evidence of pre-Inca Quipus comes from cultures like the Wari, 600 to 1000 CE, and the Tiwanaku, 300 to 1000 CE, who developed complex urban centers and extensive trade networks. These empires would have required robust administrative systems, and it's highly probable that Quipus played a role in their governance and economic management. Analysis of these older Quipu fragments often reveals differences in knot types, cord materials, and overall structure compared to Incan Quipus. These variations suggest regional styles and potentially different encoding conventions that evolved over time. The study of these older Quipus is crucial for understanding the evolutionary history of the system, much like how proto-writing systems inform our understanding of the development of cuneiform, or hieroglyphs. It highlights a process of gradual refinement and standardization that culminated in the highly efficient Incan Quipu. The existence of pre-Inca Quipus indicates that the fundamental idea of using knotted cords for data storage was an indigenous innovation, deeply embedded in Andean intellectual traditions. It demonstrates an independent trajectory of cognitive development in information management, distinct from the Old World. By analyzing the physical and statistical properties of these earlier Quipus, researchers can trace the conceptual and technological advancements that occurred over millennia. This includes the development of more standardized knot types, the adoption of a consistent base 10 system, and the integration of color and ply into the encoding scheme. Understanding the origins and evolution of the Quipu is not just about tracing a technological development, it's about understanding the long-term cognitive and cultural processes that led to one of the most unique and ingenious information systems in human history. Material science of the Quipu: fibers, dyes, and durability. The enduring mystery of the Quipu isn't just about its meaning, it's also about its remarkable physical survival and the sophisticated material science behind its creation. The choice of materials, primarily cotton and camelid fibers, alpaca and llama wool, was deliberate and reflects an intimate knowledge of fiber properties. Cotton, native to the Americas, was readily available in the coastal regions. Its long cellulose fibers provide excellent tensile strength and resistance to degradation in dry conditions, making it ideal for maintaining the precise structure of knots over centuries. Wool, on the other hand, is known for its elasticity, warmth, and ability to absorb dyes brilliantly. The combination of these fibers, often found in single quipus, suggests a purposeful selection based on desired mechanical properties and aesthetic qualities. The production of these cords was itself an intricate process. Raw fibers were cleaned, carded, or combed for finer wools, and then spun into threads. The direction of the twist, S-twist or Z-twist, was not random. In fact, some researchers propose that the ply direction itself could have carried meaning, adding another layer to the encoding system. These threads were then plied together to create thicker, stronger cords. The consistency in cord diameter and tension across a quipu speaks to a highly standardized manufacturing process. Modern materials scientists use techniques like scanning electron microscopy to examine the fiber structure, revealing details about their processing and origin. Carbon dating helps establish the age of the quipus, providing crucial chronological context. Perhaps even more fascinating is the use of dyes. The vibrant colors often seen in well-preserved quipus, reds from cochineal insects, blues from indigo, yellows from various plant extracts, were not merely decorative. Spanish chroniclers explicitly stated that colors carried specific meanings. A red cord might denote warriors or blood, a yellow cord gold or maize, a white cord peace or silver. The fastness of these ancient dyes, some of which retain their intensity after 500 years, is a testament to the advanced chemical knowledge of Andean dyers. They understood mordanting agents, substances used to fix dyes to fibers, color mixing, and the extraction of pigments from natural sources. This chemical mastery, combined with precise fiber engineering, allowed the Quipucamayocs to create durable, information-rich artifacts that have withstood the test of time, offering us glimpses into a lost world of knowledge. The Quipu is, therefore, not just an intellectual achievement, but also a triumph of ancient Andean materials science and textile artistry. The Spanish Conquest and the Loss of Knowledge. The arrival of the Spanish conquistadors in the 16th century marked a catastrophic turning point for the Inca Empire and, crucially, for the Quipu. The clash of civilizations was profound, not least in the realm of information systems. The Spanish, accustomed to phonetic writing and a centralized bureaucratic model, viewed the Quipu with a mixture of confusion, suspicion, and sometimes outright disdain. Initially, some Spanish officials recognized the administrative utility of Quipus, even employing Quipucamayocs to record tributes and census data in the early colonial period. These bicultural documents, known as Quipu census documents, are invaluable today as they sometimes correlate Quipu knot patterns with written Spanish figures, providing a critical cross-reference for decipherment efforts. However, this pragmatic approach soon gave way to suspicion. The Quipus, being a uniquely Incan form of record-keeping, were seen as potential instruments for rebellion, for preserving ancestral religions, or for recording grievances against Spanish rule. The Spanish Inquisition, seeking to eradicate indigenous beliefs and convert the populace to Catholicism, targeted Quipus as pagan idols or tools of sorcery. As a result, countless Quipus were confiscated and deliberately destroyed, often burned in massive bonfires. This act of cultural destruction was not just the loss of artifacts, it was the active suppression of an entire knowledge system, a deliberate erasure of a civilization's memory. The Quipucamayocs, who held the keys to interpreting these complex records, were persecuted, their traditions disrupted, and their invaluable knowledge passed down through generations, largely extinguished. This deliberate act of destruction created an immense epistemological void. Imagine losing nearly all the librarians and all the books of an entire civilization overnight. The loss was not just quantitative, but qualitative. The nuanced interpretations, the oral traditions that accompanied the Quipus, and the contextual understanding that brought the knots to life, all vanished. Today, only a few hundred Quipus survive in museums and private collections worldwide, a fraction of what once existed. The Spanish conquest didn't just conquer a people, it largely silenced their intellectual voice, leaving modern scholars with the daunting task of piecing together fragments of a once vibrant and sophisticated information system. The scientific challenge of decipherment is compounded by this historical tragedy, turning the Quipu into a poignant symbol of lost knowledge and cultural suppression. Modern attempts at decipherment, a scientific quest. The challenge of fully deciphering the Quipu has become one of the most compelling scientific quests in archaeology and cryptanalysis. With the original Quipucamayocs gone, modern researchers have had to adopt a multidisciplinary, data-driven approach, utilizing sophisticated scientific and mathematical tools to unlock the system's secrets. The first critical step involves precise measurement and documentation. Every surviving Quipu is now meticulously measured, sometimes using non-contact methods like 3D scanning and photogrammetry, which create high-resolution digital models. These methods capture minute details: the type, size, and position of every knot, the diameter, fiber type, and twist of every cord, and the specific color of each string. This level of granular data collection is essential for quantitative analysis, transforming the physical artifact into a massive digital dataset. Once digitized, the data is subjected to rigorous statistical and computational analysis. Researchers employ algorithms to search for non-random patterns that might indicate meaning. For the numerical Quipus, this involves looking for evidence of summations, where the values on subsidiary chords add up precisely to the total on a primary chord. The discovery of these accounting structures provided the key confirmation of the base 10 positional system. The challenge is now focused on the non-numerical or narrative Quipus. Here, the approach shifts to looking for linguistic structures. Can statistical analysis identify recurring knot clusters or chord sequences that function like syllabic units, words, or grammatical markers? Techniques like cluster analysis and machine learning are being used to group Quipus based on similarities in structure, color, or knot usage, hoping to reveal different types or genres of information. The hypothesis is that even if the content is unknown, the structure of the data might still conform to hidden linguistic or logical rules. Perhaps the most exciting breakthroughs have come from correlating Quipu data with external historical sources, particularly those rare surviving colonial-era documents where a Quipu's content was partially translated or referenced in a Spanish text. For instance, a recent successful project involved comparing a set of Quipus from a specific region with Spanish census records from the same time and place. By finding statistical correlations between the knot values and the documented population and livestock counts, researchers were able to confirm and refine their understanding of the numerical encoding conventions. The ultimate goal is to find an internal logical consistency that allows for an independent reading of an unknown Quipu. This modern, science-based assault on the Quipu's secrets is a testament to the ingenuity of both the ancient Inca, who created the system, and the contemporary scientists who refused to let its knowledge remain permanently lost. Every measured knot and every statistical model brings us closer to hearing the silent, knotted voices of the Andean past. The legacy and future of Quipu research. The Quipu, far more than a mere curiosity, stands as a profound testament to the diversity of human ingenuity in information management. Its legacy transcends the history of the Inca. It challenges our very definition of what constitutes writing and literacy. For centuries, the academic world predominantly defined writing by phonetic or logographic symbols etched onto a two-dimensional surface. The Quipu offers a compelling alternative, a three-dimensional, tactile, and multimodal system of communication that was perfectly adapted to the needs and materials of the Andean environment. It demonstrates that advanced communication and bureaucratic management can be achieved through non-graphic means, opening our minds to the concept of information technology in its broadest sense. The continued research into the Quipu is vital for several reasons. Firstly, it promises to revolutionize our understanding of Incan culture. A full decipherment of the narrative Quipus would provide direct access to the Inca's own history, mythology, and political thought, free from the biases of Spanish chroniclers. This could dramatically rewrite sections of pre-Columbian history, giving agency and voice back to the people of the Andes. Secondly, the Quipu offers insights into the universal principles of data compression and information theory. Its hierarchical structure and use of color and ply for multiple layers of encoding are mathematically elegant and hold parallels to modern concepts like metadata and object-oriented data structures. This system, built from knots, represents an early and successful model for handling complex, large-scale datasets. The future of Quipu research lies in continued international collaboration and the application of cutting-edge technology. Efforts are being made to establish a global database of all surviving Quipus, standardizing measurements and sharing data for collaborative statistical modeling. Furthermore, there is a growing emphasis on incorporating the knowledge and perspectives of modern Andean communities. Though the direct tradition of the Quipucamayocs is lost, oral histories and traditional textile practices may still contain subtle clues about the cultural context and meaning encoded in the chords. The Quipu is more than just an artifact. It is an unfinished story, a great puzzle waiting for its final pieces. Its complete decipherment would not only unlock the secrets of a great ancient empire, but would also reaffirm the boundless capacity of the human mind to organize, store, and transmit knowledge across the vast distances of time and culture. And there you have it, the incredible knotted world of the Quipu, an administrative marvel, an artistic triumph, and a scientific enigma still yielding its secrets 5 centuries later. It reminds us that technology and knowledge take countless forms, and sometimes the greatest wisdom is hidden in the simplest of objects. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the ancient echoes of the Andes. If you enjoyed unraveling this mystery, please like this video, subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into forgotten history, and let us know in the comments. What modern data system do you think the Quipu most resembles? We love reading your theories.